I've seen a lot of people respond to a video I made associating me with a political side that I don't identify with at all. And I think it's very interesting considering my video had not one single thing to do with politics whatsoever. Not once did I mention it or reference it or even hint at it. Yet so many people somehow found it in what I said because they associate the other political side as the enemy. And whoever they disagree with, they must be on the other side. The side of the enemy, as if somebody can't possibly agree with their beliefs and still disagree with their opinions at the same time. They're so used to being in an echo chamber where everybody they surround themselves with agrees on everything and they all operate in just one big circle jerk of opinions. They have a witch hunt mentality. People love witch hunts and they want to try to sniff you out and expose you for being something that you may very well not be, even without sufficient evidence at all. And the truth is, I don't see all of myself in anything. I don't believe in any one thing enough to stand under it so proudly. I have my own individual beliefs about many things, and these beliefs are constantly changing and evolving over time. I never stack myself into one little set of beliefs because as soon as you evolve that mindset and maybe experience something that changes your mind on that thing, everybody around you will call you a hypocrite and a traitor and say you flip-flopped on your stance on this, and it's just a nuisance. So it's more advantageous to me to just label myself as an individual rather than associate my entire self with any group out there, as to avoid silly little situations like that. I identify with neither political side entirely. I think politics in general are a dirty sport full of dirty players. I think politicians are selfish little snakes and simply instruments for the interests of the people who fund them and have ties with them behind the scenes. I don't think they care about you or me or anybody for that matter except themselves and their own little agendas. I think politicians in general are just a bunch of slime balls with their own best interests in mind, and if they manage to help any of you people in the process, then that's just bonus points to them. But I don't think that's ever their primary goal at all. But hey, if they somehow manage to convince you that they actually do care about you, and good on them, I guess, right? I think it's all just a big game of who's the better sociopath, and personally, I don't want to take part in it. I would rather watch from the sidelines. I know it's important to, be educated on politics and maybe even take part in it, and participate in it, and you know what I mean? But I don't think it's my place. I genuinely don't. I don't think these people care about me. And I think it's okay to think that because oftentimes it's quite evident that they don't. But I leave that to people that are actually interested in it. I'm not going to force myself to be interested in some shit that genuinely I don't care about. I know I should care about it, but I don't. I just don't. And I'm not going to force myself to when there's more qualified people to make those decisions. And I'm just off to the sidelines doing my thing, doing things that I'm more qualified to do while they do that. I think it's a win-win for everybody, honestly. I think it's kind of a douchey move to try to force somebody to care or vote or do anything. I think they have their own right to watch and be neutral and observe and just kind of learn from what they're seeing and operate accordingly. And people are going to do what they do anyways, whether I vote or not. People will do what they want. And I think people in general with very radical, one-sided ass mindsets who see everything as black and white and just right and wrong and no middle ground are a little intellectually impaired or intellectually subservient. I think their minds are only capable of processing so much. It's like they can't actually process the depth of things. It's always either this or that to them. There's never a middle ground. There's never layers. I don't believe either political side is the right one. I think they all have their pros and their cons. I take what I like out of each one and carry on. I don't completely abandon one for the other because life isn't that simple. There are so many people and they're all so different, and the circumstances that people may live within all vary and differ so much from person to person. And I just don't think one political side can work as the fairest umbrella for everybody to live and be happy under. You will always have some sort of push coming from one direction. You can't please everybody. Going one way will hurt one side of people, and going the other way will hurt another side of people. And I find it so strange. Like, Why is it that balance is such a key component of life with almost everything except politics? Why is balance in politics so frowned upon? Perhaps it's a vocal minority, but I feel there's so many people act like you gotta be on one side of the fence and view the other side as the enemy. And I disagree with that. I feel like there's a middle ground that exists where the most people can feel fulfilled at one time. Not everybody, of course, but the most possible. And I've just never had a radical believer type mindset where I can just put all my eggs into any one basket. I think that's such a cult-like behavior, and I don't have an immense amount of faith in any one thing. And I've had a lot of people when they have nothing else to say about me. They have nothing to say about the points I make about things, and they have no true legitimate argument to stand on. They resort to insults. And it's so funny, and it seems the most popular insult I've been getting is that I fake my voice. That is such... I just think, what a strange way to project your own insecurities onto me. It's hilarious. Tell me you have no reason to actually disagree with me without telling me that you have no reason to actually disagree with me. But this is what people do, though, when they have nothing else to say and no point to stand on, no grounds to stand on, no evidence behind their thoughts, no reason to say what they're saying. They'll just insult you. It's their last resort. It's always their last resort. And that's how you know they've lost, when they resort to insults and that they're insecure inside, because no happy person, no secure and confident person, truly within themselves, goes and insults people through the internet. It's silly. If you have nothing to say, if you disagree with me but don't know why you're disagreeing with me and have to resort to an insult, ask yourself, well, why don't I have anything else to say except an insult? Why don't I agree with him? Ask yourself why you don't agree with me when I make a point that you disagree with for whatever reason. Does it just go against your beliefs and you're personally offended? It's just, I can just tell when I've personally offended somebody, and I never mean to. Sometimes I do, but I don't really go out my way to try to offend people. But I always find it so funny that people play this gotcha card, you fake your deep voice. What is there to gain by doing that? That line of thought is so interesting to me. It's like, is that something you would do? Because to me, that sounds absolutely absurd, and I don't see why I would go through the trouble of that. I don't see the end goal. You know what I mean? But I'm guessing that this is something they deal with themselves. They may be insecure of their own voice. I didn't know many people were so insecure of their voices, but yeah, it's like their number one go-to thing. And that's how I know I've made a great point. When they have to attack my voice and not the actual points I've made, that's how I know I've constructed a pretty solid point. They've got nothing else to attack. They're just like, oh shit, they're just reaching for anything. Oh, his voice, boom, let's use this one. Like, okay, ooh, you got me. Like, what do you gain, bro? Like, what? And for anyone that may disagree with any points in the future that may be saying this, an insult to me, it'll never be felt by me. And when people come into my comments so hostile and attack my thoughts with this, and they actually try to use logic and dissect what I've said, but they do it in such a hostile manner, maybe slip an insult in there, just so you know, as soon as you insult me, everything you say beyond that, it's irrelevant to me, because you're speaking from a place of hatred. You're speaking bitterly. It feels more like an attack, and I just don't respond to that. If you come here to insult me, it's never gonna work. It's just a waste of your time. And I read people, and if you do construct something and it has decent logic, I read everything with open mind. I think everybody on this planet has at least one memorable little piece to offer you. They can say something, and I always hear people out with an open mind. I'm curious what people have to say, and I do try to test my own thoughts on things and take other people's thoughts into consideration. I take many things into consideration, like why they think this way and what it is they think and where they're coming from, their point of view, all the angles that they're approaching their logic from. I do try to consider them and consider their thoughts themselves and just really read with an open mind and hear people out. I am curious. I don't have to agree with you, but I do want to give you the chance to speak and listen to you. And I am curious. I'm genuinely curious how other people think. It intrigues me to learn from other people, whether I disagree with you or not, you know? And yeah, I think it's okay to disagree. We can respectfully disagree, or hey, we might even find a little middle ground between each other. We might teach each other something. You know, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I'm a student of life. I'll always be a student. I love being a student. And yeah, but yeah, I have no problem disagreeing with people. I love hearing people out speaking to people, learning new ways to view things. I don't want to be in an echo chamber. I love hearing what other people have to say about shit and the way they see things. I think it's interesting. So yeah, never be afraid to speak your mind. And I'm always, down to listen and hear you out. And yeah, I get curious, man. So having the same thoughts in my head all the time bore me. That's why I'm always looking to change my mind about things. I want to be wrong about things because that means there's a door for a new way to think and see things. So I never mind being wrong. Like, my thoughts on things change all the fucking time. Like, I probably think of everything last week differently than I do this week, bro. Like, it's just, I'm always thinking. I'm always trying to consider new ways to see shit and consider things. So yeah, it doesn't hurt my ego when I'm wrong. Like, if you're right, if the logic you're seeing something through is better than mine, then I'm grateful that I've heard your stance on it. And I think it's very important for everybody to do that. Try to test the way you think. Try to really see if you're right. Because what do you really know? We don't really know anything about anything. And I think, there's that quote, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And I love that because, you always be a student, of life, of everything, always be open to learn. And that's why I don't really like the radical mindsets of either side of the political spectrum. It's clearly closed-mindedness. It's just blatant closed-mindedness. They don't want to hear the other side out. They want to block them and exile them and cancel them and deplatform them. They don't want to hear them out because they're offended by their thoughts or anything. They will never have intellectual discourse. Share dialogue and try to find a middle ground with each other. They'll never do that because they're just so far leaning towards one side of the spectrum. And it's just like, how will your mindset ever evolve if you never let somebody challenge it, bro? Like, with challenge comes change, and you're never gonna change. And changing your mind is good. It means you've evolved or changed in some way. To never have an experience take place, to ever change your mind on your thoughts about shit means you just don't experience enough. And experience is what grows you and evolves your mind. It literally changes the structure of your fucking mind, bro. Like, you should strive to experience more, get out there more, hear from more people. Talk to people that disagree with you and see things differently. Talk to people from drastically different backgrounds than you and learn what they have to see and their points of view on things. And it may make you step back and rethink your own point of view on things. See why they think differently than you. And don't just hear their opinion, but see why they think that way. Why do they think differently than me? What about their background? And it could vary it has so many reasons as to why they may disagree with you, and try to get to the bottom of it because it grows you and it seasons you as a person. And it's important to strive for that change, and really try to just evolve your mindset. When I see people standing on one thing for years, it's just one line of thought for so long, I'm just like, Jesus, you're stubborn as shit. You're probably not that bright because you can't even open your mind up for any different opinion to challenge yours. And you're probably fairly insecure, as we can see with people like that, like Hassan Abi, who are insecure as shit. And he doesn't want to actually debate with people who have different opinions than him because he's afraid that he might be wrong. And his viewers are going to cry and scream that they're god of illogical bullshit to say could possibly be wrong, and someone else, God forbid, may make a little bit of sense. People are afraid of that. So I feel you should strive for a good debate that you may lose, Because, hey, if you lose a debate, that means someone clearly had a better point than you. And you need to really look at your own shit and be like, well, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, why am I wrong? Shit. Like, did I really have this mindset? Don't always try to just double down on what you say so you can be right or think you're right. You're going to live in a fucking world of delusion. Strive to prove yourself wrong. Always. You should always strive to prove yourself wrong. I think not enough people do that shit. They don't want to prove themselves wrong. They want to stand by their thoughts they've had forever and double down on them and die on that fucking hill. No, you should want to be wrong. Want to learn more. Challenge your thoughts. Challenge the way you see shit, bro. That's how you change your fucking mind and evolve, bro. You're being a goddamn stubborn idiot. You're just a stubborn fucking blockhead idiot. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant video, and yeah, peace. Look at this little hat I stole from a gas station. It's just pretty cool, right? Yeah. I remember I boxed some dude on top of a parking garage in this hat. You just see me in my like skinny black ripped jeans and a big blue sweater with little ears, little bunny ears, and just beating the shit out this motherfucker. Like we would just go up there and just fight each other. And this shit was awesome. That's just so random to say, but yeah. Anyways, peace.